You may have heard that people are hunter-gatherers. And when people start talking about hunting and gathering, what they're trying to get to is that you're designed as a meat eater. Actually, hunting and gathering throughout human history has been primarily gathering. Gathering is what mainly took place in almost all societies. Hunting was a very inefficient thing to do. But gathering didn't get a lot of notoriety because gathering was done by children and women and old people. They're not very important. The important people in all societies are men. And so men once in a while would go out and kill something which they'd be able to eat for a day or two before it rotted. But if it wasn't for the fact that the women and the children and the old people were gathering the calories from plants, these civilizations would not have survived. All right, so let's go back to hunter-gatherers. Hunter-gathering civilizations, which, I don't know, they probably disappeared 25 to 50,000 years ago. People say 12,000. They say that agriculture was introduced 12,000 years ago. But I think it goes back further than there, based on historical accounts. Maybe 50,000 years ago, people started to develop agriculture. What happened in a hunter-gatherer society is you spent all your time hunting and gathering. You had nothing else to do. If you didn't hunt and gather enough food for you and a couple of the kids, then basically your family was done. Nobody was there with any subsidy programs to save you. You were out. And you didn't have time for doing anything else except to hunt and gather. Maybe you got a few minutes in the evening to draw a little stick painting of a buffalo or a horse on the cave wall. But otherwise, all you did was hunt and gather. And then what happened is people found some plants that they found particularly enjoyable and easy to cultivate. And they started agriculture, and they started planting these particular plants near their village and cultivating them and producing more calories. Now, once they were able to make more calories, then what happened is they had some extra food. And so it wasn't a matter of you just being able to eke out enough food for you and maybe a couple of the kids to live. You had some extra food. And when you had extra food, that allowed for civilization. That allowed for diversity. Now everybody didn't hunt and gather. Some people could be freed up to become politicians and soldiers and artists and musicians. Civilization started because of this extra availability of energy. And as time went on, more and more energy became available, and so more and more people had that luxury of diversifying. And it got to the point, maybe 6,000, 7,000 years ago, there was so much extra plant energy that they could feed it to the pigs and the pheasants and the ducks and to the animals. And then some really rich people didn't have to eat only the grains. They could eat the ducks and the pigs, and these are pharaohs and kings and queens. Okay, so more and more food became able to be produced as people became more efficient, and that allowed more diversity of civilization. You got to the 14, 15, 1600s, and you had lots of aristocrats and kings and queens. And then what happened is in the mid-1800s, we were in the midst of the Industrial Revolution, and we harnessed fossil fuel. And once we harnessed fossil fuel and we developed some technology, we got into a situation where we could produce an abundance of food. So much food that now one person sitting on a tractor can make enough food for 3,000 people. So one person's got to be a farmer. 2,999 of us can do something else. Starches were the caloric engines of civilization. If you didn't have these starches at the center of the diet, we would not have civilization today. That's the prominence that starches played. Animal foods never did that.